Okay, hello and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ryan Embry, and I am the brand ambassador here at Travel Media Group. I want to go ahead and first off, thank everyone for taking the time to join me on this webinar this afternoon. I am super excited to share this information with you all. At the end of this presentation, I will be providing my direct contact information in case you had any follow-up questions with the content that I'll be sharing. But you can also use the chat feature located in your toolbar to type any sort of questions or feedback you might have. I will be responding to those questions following the conclusion of this webinar. So let's go ahead and get started and talk about the revenue ripple effect of social media. And I wanted to first get started by talking about the conversations that I have with GMs and owners about their social media for their hotels. I commonly have three questions that get asked more frequently than not. The first is, how can I get more out of my social media marketing? The second one is, how do I measure the value and ROI of my social media strategy? And the third is, how can I expand my social media audience and reach? And the funny thing is most of the time, the answer lies in the way that these same GMs and owners that I'm talking to are using their personal social media pages on a day-to-day basis. If they really thought about the different ways they are utilizing these platforms on a personal basis, they would see the incredible value and revenue potential social media has to offer hotels. So I wanted to launch a quick poll to demonstrate what I mean. So you're going to see on your screens here a poll. And I want you to think about how you engage with social media on your personal pages. I want you to click all the ways that you've interacted either with posts or content using social media. And you can click multiple boxes. So when you're done with this, go ahead and click submit. I'll wait for a couple more seconds for everyone to kind of finish those votes. And we'll take a look at some of these results here. Okay, awesome. So, well, as you can see, a large majority of you interact with social media in a lot of different ways. But I want you to see on the screen here that each way in these engagements and interactions represents a time where you push content further and expanded that post reach to a bigger audience. So go ahead and hide this. Let me see. Let's take a look at how we can put this into practice. I want you all to imagine that everyone on this call is now my Facebook friend. You are the only Facebook friends that I have. And I have a message that I want to get out about your hotel. Now, instead of this post just reaching my Facebook friends and everyone on this call, I want to get my message out to a bigger audience and expand this post reach. So how do I do that? Well, if I shared this post right now that you see in front of you and had everyone on this call do just one of the 5 things that we went over in that poll, this post would not just reach my Facebook friends, but it would reach all of your Facebook friends. And imagine if they engage with that post and it reached their friends and so on, creating a ripple effect of engagement. I want you to also think about the power of credibility that this post now has with engagement from you. Assume that I could get my post in front of all of your friends on Facebook without you engaging. Do you think that my posts would be as powerful or influential? Of course not. They don't know me. They don't trust my opinion. They know you. They are much more likely to value a post if it comes from you, a friend, not me, a stranger. In fact, 80% of travelers are more likely to book based on a friend liking a page than they are seeing traditional advertising. I want you to think about the power of this statistic and how social media is changing the way travelers make booking decisions today. So let's see how we can harness this power of social media on our hotel business pages to influence travelers' booking decisions, because ultimately at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. So in order to influence a traveler's booking decisions, we first need to know where travelers are searching. As you probably guessed, Google is the #1 search engine with over 5 billion search queries a day. But did you know that Facebook and Twitter have higher search queries than Bing? In fact, if we combine the number of daily searches from both Facebook and Twitter, we almost match the number of people that are searching on Google per day. This translates to hoteliers for a lot of influence and revenue potential. So now that we know where travelers search, we know where to focus our efforts, right? On Google and regular search engines, as well as social media. But how do these two search engine platforms correlate? If we optimize one, can it impact the other? And the answer is yes, it absolutely can. In fact, social media engagement represents a percentage of Google's SEO algorithm and can impact where you rank organically on local searches. So how do we optimize these search engines? Well, what hoteliers are turning to in 2018 to improve their organic ranking is increasing the number of linkless mentions. Linkless mentions represent the ways people are talking about your property online. This includes posts on social media, blog content, online reviews, etc. To put it simply, the more people are talking and mentioning your hotel, the better. It signals to Google a level of trust between your hotel and consumers. Google rewards this trust with a higher ranking on organic searches. So now that we've explored where travelers are searching and how to make yourself visible on search engines like Google, let's look at when travelers are searching. Hoteliers need to be aware of at what stage of the booking and decision-making process travelers are at when they search on different search engines. Well, as you can see from this timeline, the majority of all searches start with an organic search, like Google, for example, hotels in the area. However, shortly after, travelers are looking at social media sites. This is still very early in the decision-making process. In fact, that note at the bottom, 87% of travelers under the age of 34 use social media for traveling inspiration. This is important to note when we are determining what posts are going to influence travelers, and as we're going to see a little later on this presentation, what is the purpose of a post and the content we put on our pages. But that is not the only time that they are searching on social media. This graphic shows that although very prevalent at the beginning of the decision-making process, social media plays just as big of a factor in the middle. There is even a percentage of travelers that are using social media as a place they make their final booking decision. Hoteliers have to keep this in mind when posting content because the traveler could be at any one of these three stages. So just as Google uses a formula to rank its businesses in an organic search, Facebook, also a search engine, also has a formula. So with over 2 billion searches a day, how can you use this formula to your advantage and rank higher on these searches while at the same time improving your SEO? Well, when we talk about social media, we talk about two distinct types of searches. We talk about intentional search and unintentional search. Google is an intentional search engine. When you go to Google, you have an intent on what you plan to search. You don't go to Google to see what your friends search or what their interests are. No, you go to Google to search yourself and search your interests. Meanwhile, users on social media can utilize platforms with an intent to search using the search bar at the top, as you can see from this, or an intent to explore. For travelers with an intent to explore Facebook, Facebook provides something called a news feed, and this information is the information that's visible to the user when the platform is first open. So we, as hoteliers, want to be noticed by travelers and seen by travelers when they are both exploring and when they are searching on social media. So let's start with the hotel's post being visible on a user's news feed. So if you guys have personally your Facebooks, this is what it would look like when you first open it. So when travelers, well, if they're a follower of your page, they will automatically come up on your news feed when it is posted. But how do we tap into those non-followers and expand our audience? That is where those 5 things mentioned in the poll at the beginning of this presentation come into play. So if someone comments, likes, shares, reviews, or checks in on a post or at your hotel, it will sometimes become visible on a non-follower's newsfeed. You can see the example of a hotel's post being commented on by a user's followers or friends. So let's talk about when travelers use Facebook as a search engine, like the 2.1 billion users are doing per day. Well, they're given results much like Google would give its users. Now, Google, as we know, uses SEO and link list mention to rank its hotels. So how does Facebook? Well, Facebook, being a social media platform, checks to see if any of your friends have visited hotels in the market in which you are searching. If it recognizes that your friends like or have visited a hotel, they will put that hotel at the top of your search, with the idea being in mind, if your friends like it, you will find that information most valuable. Check-ins is the same, and you'll notice on this listing how this listing caters to travelers at every stage of the decision-making process. They have photos of the property, which could be used for influencing bookings or inspiring travel. We also have reviews and a price range for those travelers that might be in the middle of the decision-making process with a couple local competitors in mind. And also the Book Now feature for those travelers that are at the very end of their decision and ready to make a booking decision. Another unique place that you can use as a hotel to get your hotel in front of prospective travelers is the event search page. If you are trying to get exposure for a specific event that the hotel is hosting or an event that is in your local area, create a Facebook event. This will help your hotel show up when travelers are searching for local events and need a place to stay. So let's take a look at everything we learned and let's put it in a real life example. And we can demonstrate how to put this knowledge into practice and create a social media revenue ripple effect. For this example, we are going to take a look at a property called the Eagles Nest Inn. It's a small independent property in the southeast region of Georgia. Now this post is a great example of a post that could potentially lead to a ripple effect. We have a nice looking high resolution picture with a small quote and a verbiage that asks for a call to action from the traveler. Join the weekenders, book direct for the lowest price at the Eagles Nest Inn. Look at how there has been engagement and interaction from travelers on this post at the bottom, and how the hotel creates a clear-cut path to a direct commission-free booking. Let's meet Bill. Bill is familiar with this hotel and is one of its many followers on Facebook. Bill is on his Facebook and he's looking for inspiration on where to take his girlfriend for a fun anniversary date. There is a local vineyard nearby the Eagle's Nest Inn, and he decides to make it a day trip. He sees the hotel's post and decides to book a night there. Bill and his girlfriend have a wonderful time, and Bill decides to check in on Facebook at the property and thanks the staff for his incredible stay. Let's meet Jim. Jim is Bill's old childhood friend. Jim is coming to town to visit some family and has done some searching on Google. He has a few options but is not settled on a hotel yet. Jim is checking his Facebook news feed and sees Bill's post about having a great stay at the Eagle's Nest Inn. Bill's post influences Jim to book at the Eagle's Nest Inn for the weekend during his visit. So this is a great example of a traveler right in the middle of the decision-making timeline. Jim also receives great service while at the property, and at checkout is asked if he would be so kind as to leave the hotel a review online. Jim accepts the request and writes a 5-star review on the hotel's Facebook page. Now let's fast forward a couple weeks and meet Stephanie. Stephanie is Jim's sister-in-law, and she's coming into town for an annual local dog show. She and her friend are looking for a place to stay for the weekend of the dog show that is pet-friendly. When searching her Facebook events page, she sees that the Eagle's Nest Inn is doing a meet and greet for some of the competitors at the show. When she clicks on the hotel's Facebook page, she sees that her brother-in-law, Jim, had checked in there just a couple weeks prior and had written a 5-star review about his experience. Now, it was that review and the Facebook event that ultimately influences Stephanie and her friend to book there for the weekend of the show. During the meet and greet hosted by the hotel at the event, the staff asked if it would be okay to take a picture of Stephanie's dog and post it to the hotel's Facebook page. She is honored by the request and allows the hotel to do so. Once posted, Stephanie quickly comments and likes the post. The post gets a ton of likes and shares from all of Stephanie's followers. This post is a great example of really accomplishing two goals. One, it's letting potential travelers know that this hotel is pet friendly, but it also got a lot of engagement and interaction from Stephanie and all of her friends and followers. One of Stephanie's followers is Leslie. Leslie is one of Stephanie's best friends and also happens to be Facebook friends with her brother-in-law, Jim. Leslie is getting married at a venue in the area near the Eagle's Nest Inn, and she needs a block of 15 rooms to accommodate her guests that are coming into town. Now, she has never stayed at the Eagle's Nest Inn and doesn't have time to stay at all the local hotels. But as she's seen on her news feed and the searches that she's been doing on Facebook, she has had multiple friends that have enjoyed their stay at the hotel. She decides to give the Eagle's Nest Inn the first opportunity to inquire about the room block. Ultimately, the hotel was able to secure this 15 block. So Leslie, at the very end, in this 15-room block that the hotel was able to secure, has no relation to Bill, who booked the original night with his girlfriend. So there would be no way for the hotel to know that that original post that ended up influencing Bill led to this 15-room block booking. That is why social media is so hard to track ROI. So let's give the hotel some insight on what the guest acquisition costs for this revenue or for this ripple of bookings were and the revenue associated with it. Let's assume for this example that this hotel has an ADR of $80. So what did the hotel have to do to secure and inspire Bill and his girlfriend to book there for the night? Well, they made that post with a call to action. That cost the property $0 and ended up bringing a one-night stay worth of $80 of revenue. In order to get Jim's booking, they had to provide great service to Bill and his girlfriend, which is a standard at this hotel. It cost $0 extra and brought in a weekend's revenue of $160. Stephanie and her friend were inspired by the event that was going on at the hotel, but ultimately influenced by the 5-star review that Jim, her brother-in-law, had written for the hotel. Again, costing the hotel $0, with Stephanie and her friend staying there for the weekend, revenue of $320. And lastly, for that 15-room block, what influenced Leslie to stay there was the dog photo that she saw, as well as the excellent service that was provided to her multiple Facebook friends, which included Jim and Stephanie, costing the property $0 and a revenue of $2,400. So ultimately, there was $0 incurred by the property out of their marketing and advertising budget, but got a total return of almost $3,000 for that post alone. So is this going to happen every time we make a post? Of course not. The purpose of some posts might be to inform travelers or to inspire travel. That might not cause a ripple effect then, but could lead to one in the future. You have to think, along with your post, local competition is also fighting for these revenue ripples, which could murky the water. That's what makes the content that you post so important on your social media pages. And ultimately, the more quality content that you can put out on your social media pages will positively impact your chances of being found and chosen. So this is exciting, right? All of this potential revenue out there and these ripples just waiting to be secured and cashed in on. But with so many opportunities to distract and deter the modern traveler, we need to ensure that the content that we post is quality and has a clear end in mind. So when we talk to the hotels that we partner with through their social media pages, we have a couple best practices that we call posting with a purpose. The first one is high resolution property photos. So just like meeting someone in person, you only have one chance to make a first impression on these travelers. You want to make sure that the photos that you are posting are the best representation of your property out there. Some properties that we work with even go as far as hiring a local photographer to provide high resolution pictures of the property outside of maybe the images you would see on the brand site or third-party booking engines. The purpose of this post would be to show off the property and hopefully inspire the user to imagine themselves and picture themselves at your property. Share travelers' content. So this is a great example of Stephanie and sharing a picture of her dog. Sharing other travelers' content is an easy way to get a quick engagement from a post. Keeping in mind a post credibility that we talked about at the beginning of the presentation, sharing a traveler's content could be a way to reach farther than just your current followers and audience. It also gives travelers a fresh perspective than just the hotel and could give you at the property ideas for future content and posts. Local partnerships and deals. Leveraging local partnerships can be a great way to increase social media engagement and traffic to your hotel. Partnering with local businesses within the community gives your property a more local, homegrown feel and can really change a traveler's perspective on the way they view your business. This is also a great way to get an advantage over local competition in the eyes of that value-driven and deal-seeking traveler. This post here is a really good example. It's as simple as offering free garlic knots at a local pizzeria when showing your room key. This could really help both businesses with some referral traffic between them. Share 5-star reviews. Imagine if you could control or highlight the reviews that travelers saw on a particular review site, like TripAdvisor. Well, that is exactly what the purpose of this post is, to do just that. Creating a post dedicated to a particular 5-star review showcases the quality and service of your property. This post can influence or sway a traveler's booking decision and give you an edge over local competition. It also gives you a forum to thank your happy guests for their feedback. And lastly, and arguably most important, provide a call to action. At this point, we turn trust into transaction. These travelers follow your page for a reason. And like the old sales saying, if you do not ask for the sale, you will never get it. Now, we don't want to overwhelm travelers with these call to action posts because we do not want to seem too pushy and eventually lose their trust, resulting in an unfollow. But we do want to provide convenient, clear-cut paths to a direct commission-free booking. It's balancing these posts that can be the most influential when attempting to create a revenue ripple. Social media is growing at an exponential rate and is only going to become a bigger factor in future marketing and advertising for hotels. If your competitors are not doing this now, they will be soon. And if they already are, you are already fighting for that audience. You're fighting for that reach and that revenue. So make sure you at the property are posting with a purpose to give your hotel the best chance to create, secure, and cash in on these revenue ripples. So as promised, here is my information, my contact information here. I would love to speak with you. We're the experts in social media marketing for hotels. We work with properties all across the nation. I'd love to talk specifically about your hotel, what ideas you might have, what's working, what's not working, and really what could ultimately influence you and help you secure these revenue ripples, because they're out there. They really are. So thank you all so much for joining. I did want to mention that we're going to be doing another one of these webinars next month, talking frankly about reputation and how you can read your reputation online and really create a game plan here. So that's going to be happening next month, but I want to thank you all so much for your time. Have a fantastic day, and feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or feedback. Thank you.